Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone. This is Jeana at Art of Skincare, and I'm so excited today. I would like to introduce you all to Steve McGee. He is the co-founder of NeoGenesis, and I have to tell you, NeoGenesis is probably my very favorite skincare company that I get to work with. This is a company that has just a huge heart. So many of my clients who've dealt with either accidents that scar them or children who have had to have surgeries or people going through radiation, this company steps in and has helped them tremendously. Their technology and what they do is just really fantastic for the skin, and they just are a really fun company to work with. I really enjoy them. So yay, Steve. So I want to kick this off with letting Steve say whatever he wants to say, but I really want to hear something about what inspired you guys, Steve. What inspired you guys to go into skincare and to create stem cell skincare?
That's a great question, and I first just want to say I don't want to act like we're members of the Mutual Admiration Society, but yeah, I just so enjoy every time I get to talk to you. It's just a pleasure. All the people on your team are amazing.
Thank you.
The amount of care and love that you give to your clients is just phenomenal. And the help you've given us. I mean, you've been a great sounding board for me on some things and just fun to exchange with because you're a giver as well. You help people. You want people to do well, feel well.
Absolutely.
You've built a business around doing that, right?
Yes, absolutely. Kindred spirits.
Yeah.
That's why we get along so well. Yeah.
Which is why I get to ask you some questions today, too.
Okay, we'll do that.
Well, briefly, my journey that got me to NeoGenesis, my history, I've been very fortunate. We all have our ups and downs. We all have our highs and lows. But through it all, I've been able to invest in different companies and different industries over the last 40 plus years. I've always looked for good ideas that I could help to grow, to serve more people. I met Dr. McGuire back in 2013 for different reasons, another investment I had. I was wanting to interview everybody that was in the stem cell sciences skin space. So I just treated myself to a nice journey to go meet all the different people that were around at that point in time. And I'll tell you, Greg McGuire he's a humble man. He's an amazing scientist. I know we were talking earlier about PubMed peer-reviewed journals.
Yeah.
He's got more publications. He's got more papers that are published there than literally everybody else in the industry combined. He's just an amazing scientist and a super humanitarian like you and me. And so we met. I was helping him because I wanted his technology for another purpose at that time, but I knew he's a scientist, not necessarily a business and operations kind of a guy. So I was just helping him kind of on the side to be more stable because I go, his science needs to get to the planet. He's got some incredible knowledge that he's brought forward. And then in 2015, he approached me and said, hey, would you be interested in investing in my company and taking over and helping to commercialize this? Because that's not been my strength up to now. And I said, yeah, I couldn't think of a better thing to do at this point in time. So his science, my operating capital, and away we went. And
so exciting.
It's been an amazing journey. Oh my God, it's been an amazing journey. And the more we do together and the more we get to see the science and what it's doing in people's lives, they say you get a paycheck, but then you get something called psychic income, and it either adds to your paycheck or it takes away from your paycheck, right?
Right.
So just the psychic income from being able to help people. Every day I wake up like a little kid waiting for his birthday. I'm going, what do I get to do now?
Yeah. Never boring and always something new and fun to do with it. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. But what inspired you? What brought you to start Art of Skincare? And I mean, you're just growing tremendously and you're holding it together. I mean, how are you doing it?
I love it. I started it started with me in college. I worked as a makeup artist and sold cosmetics in Macy's, and I loved doing it. I loved working with people. It's kind of funny. At that time, my counter manager had told me, you need to wear more makeup. You can't sell makeup if you don't wear more makeup. And I would try. I mean, It's so funny because in college I would try and put more makeup on, but then I would like blend it in so much that it really didn't look like I was wearing much makeup. I wear about as much makeup now as I did then. And the funny story is that after I worked there for 3 months with my barely any makeup, my makeup that didn't look like I was wearing makeup, my sales were so high that she came to me one day and she said, "I'm never going to say this to you again, but you can wear anything you want." Because I just had a way of connecting with the clients, and people would walk onto the sales floor and they would just come to me and they'd say, "I just want to look natural like you do. I just want to have healthy, glowing, beautiful look to my skin and the makeup that I'm using." So I really enjoyed doing that. But when I finished college, I became a home mom. And I loved doing that for 20 years. And then I got tired of that and was ready to do something new. But we have a lot of entrepreneurial blood in my family. My grandmother was one of the original Avon ladies. And my father, he was into motocross, had one of the original motocross websites selling motocross stuff. So I knew I didn't want to work for someone else. I wanted to work for myself. And as I thought about what I wanted to do, going back into, kind of changing tracks and trying something new with my life, creating a different career than being a mom, I knew I wanted to work for myself, and I knew I wanted to work with people, and I especially wanted to work with other women and helping them to feel good about themselves. So I became an esthetician. I opened my spa. And then I realized that I couldn't reach enough people. It's like I wanted to reach even more people. So eventually, as my spa grew, I started looking for other ways to interact with people. And I started my website and then started doing YouTube and different things to connect with more people. And at a certain point, I had to make a decision of, do I just want to impact the people that I work with locally, or do I want to have a national impact on people? And at that time, I was really working with a lot of acne clients and really helping people and changing their life by clearing their skin, whether they were teenagers or adults who were struggling with acne. So I decided at a certain point that I wanted to have more of that national influence. And so I eventually closed my spa, which was really hard and sad to say goodbye to those clients. But I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. And this is just a different stage of my life. And it really is perfect for me right now. So I've just started doing these YouTube lives in the last year. And it's been a lot of fun. I'm meeting a lot of neat people and having a great impact, a bigger impact on people. My real goal is that people feel good about their skin and feel good about their age. And aging naturally is kind of what I embrace and what I try to help my clients to do as well. Have the best possible skin you can, but also acknowledging that we're all going to get deeper and deeper lines. We laugh around in my office about it. We're all going to become Apple dolls at some point, and that's okay, and it's beautiful. And so that's long story short of why I do what I do.
That's a great story. So you've got some new, I'm not to turn the interview around here, but I was really fascinated. I don't know if you are a place yet to announce your new website and what you're able to do there.
I know. It's very exciting. We do have a new website in production. It's been a while. It takes a while to do these things. And we were supposed to launch a week ago, and then we were supposed to launch next week, and now it's going to launch towards the end of the month, but it's all okay because what we're working toward is so incredible. Our new website is going to have a navigation system that makes it so much easier to find the products that you're looking for. So if you want a moisturizer, but you only want to see moisturizers that are acne safe, you're going to be able to do that on our new website. Or maybe you're allergic to an ingredient. You're going to be able to do a search for moisturizers that don't have that ingredient in it. Or maybe you want acne safe and you don't want a particular ingredient. You can do both and see that. So my team, they're we joke about it, but they are incredible. They have this dream, and they're kind of navigation nerds at this point. And they had this vision of creating this over a year ago, and now they're doing it. And sometimes they're going, why are we doing this? They didn't realize how detailed it was going to be and how hard it was to pull it all together. They were combing through every single product we carry right now and categorizing it by different ingredients, different properties, whether it has scent or no scent. And it's a little overwhelming right now, but they're getting close, and it's pretty exciting. I'm very excited to launch it. The other thing that's coming is subscriptions. So a lot of clients have been asking if we will just automatically ship a product to them every 4 weeks or 5 weeks that they need. And we haven't had that capability. We are going to have that capability starting with the new website. So it's going to make it so much easier, yes, to get your NeoGenesis recovery serum sent that thing lasts forever. Every 3 months, they can get a new recovery serum sent to them. So
I love it.
Yeah, so I'm going to turn this around. We got to get this back on you, because they get to hear from me every week, and they hear all this stuff. But a big area of confusion amongst my clients is growth factors versus stem cells. First of all, we had a confusion between human stem cells and plant stem cells. And so I've been educating them about that. Plant stem cells are our antioxidants, where the human stem cells are doing that DNA work and the healing work. So, but there's still confusion. I've been seeing it a lot in the last few weeks between growth factors like EGF serums, TGF serums. I'm seeing confusion about that and stem cells. So if you could dive in there a little bit for us, kind of dump this science down so we understand it, but kind of give us that, help us to understand the difference between those two things. How's that?
Yeah, that's good. And that particular question kind of fits in a mosaic that goes into some history as well, because that's what's currently in discussion. But when you look at the history of stem cell science and skin tissue, it's pretty fascinating, and I will give kind of the layman's version of that. But in terms of the growth factors, what Dr. McGuire talks about is he talks about something called systems therapeutics, which is how the body naturally works. The body is it's ingenious what Mother Nature's created in all of us, right? Mm-hmm. But within the skin itself, the skin stem cells that are in the skin, they have hundreds of different molecules, including these growth factors that you're referring to. What happened for a percentage of our society, and this is especially true in the pharmaceutical industry, they've been taught reductionist thinking, right? One molecule, one specific pathway to solve a problem. But when you listen to pharmaceutical commercials, you typically hear, this pharmaceutical can help with this problem, but here are 17 contraindications, right? You could have these side effects, including death. So typically when you're just targeting with just one growth factor or two growth factors versus a full complement of molecules, which is what Mother Nature is putting forward in the skin, you're creating a temporary impact, in this case, plumping of the skin, which is people are certainly after.
Right.
But you're typically overactive. You're overactivating the skin with that simple, single, targeted molecule. It's the full complements that will get you both the growth factors, but the other molecules that are also very important that all work in concert together to help the skin be balanced. People call that homeostasis.
Right.
But the key is to have balanced development of the skin, and that's what our technology does. It provides the skin what the skin would provide itself if it were young and healthy. We figured out what Mother Nature does. We honor what Mother Nature does in our labs, and that's where our topical products come from, with that complement of molecules, including the growth factors.
I love that. I love that. So let me kind of recap what I'm hearing is that rather than pull out an isolated growth factor from this cells or whatever, rather than pulling an isolated growth factor, you're giving it the whole grain. you're getting all of it. I guess it would be kind of like white bread versus whole wheat bread, or white rice versus whole grain. You've got the whole thing, and all those different elements are so important to work in your skin. And when you just pull one of them, you're missing the rest of the good stuff.
You got it.
Okay.
And some companies are trying to extract that growth factor organically, the organic version, but a lot of those companies also have synthetic EGFs, right?
Right.
So, which, who knows what that means over the long term. There's over 2,000 new chemicals introduced to society every year, and it takes years to know what does that really mean in terms of its ultimate outcome. So, so that full complement is important.
I love that. I love it. Let's see. I have some other questions. Now, I've had a few clients message, I don't even know if they're clients, but some people that heard that we were going to be speaking to each other today. And some people concerned about stem cells. And even one person said, you should be ashamed of yourself for using aborted baby fetuses in your skincare. So I know we don't do that. So can you share a little bit about where are you getting these stem cells? Are they ethically harvested? Do they come from babies? Can you share with us about that? Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And you literally, when I said the history is pretty fascinating. So I'll just give a 3-minute kind of recap, if you will, and then you can ask me more questions if I'm missing anything for you. But when the sciences began, initially the whole discussion about stem cells was very controversial, right? Because it's about embryonic stem cells.
Yes. And
that was kind of the first big hit. And if you remember, the Catholic Church condemned it, and a lot of people were going, you're taking from baby fetuses.
Yes.
And so there was both a lot of pressure that was put upon it, but really what happened was as science continued to advance forward, the discovery was, the initial thinking was, embryonic stem cells would be the best stem cells to use. The problem with embryonic stem cells is they can turn into any kind of tissue. So the next breakthrough scientifically was, it's not embryonic stem cells, it's adult stem cells that are already dedicated to a particular tissue is really the kind of stem cells that people should be working with. So the entire industry moved away from embryonic stem cells and dead babies and so on. That kind of really went away about 15 years ago. So then it became about adult stem cells. And then the next breakthrough was, well, it's not just adult stem cells. It really needs to be tissue-specific stem cells. Mother Nature, once again, she has special stem cells for the skin. She has different stem cells for the eye, different stem cells for the brain. They're all tissue specific. That's what she created, right?
Yes.
So it then became tissue specific. Then the next breakthrough was, it's not, because then there were products that had stem cells in them. We, as an example, do not have stem cells in our products, because the next breakthrough was, it's not the stem cell that has the benefit, it's the molecules from the stem cell. That's where the benefit is.
Okay.
That are released,
Okay.
So then it became, okay, how do we get to the molecules? And I mention this because you'll hear of some companies that will have human stem cells that are skin specific, but they're doing things like they're crushing the stem cell to get at the molecules, or they're pouring acids on the stem cell. Production efficiency, driving costs down, getting to that stem cell molecule more quickly. If you think about, like you mentioned, having your children, right? If the doctor said, hey, we want to get these kids at month 3 instead of month number 9, we all know, like, well, that's not a good idea. C-section at month 3, not a good idea, right?
Yeah.
We need that full gestation. So what we do at NeoGenesis in our labs is we have found a way to be able to culture the stem cells and literally watch them. And then we can see when they're just releasing those molecules. And the beautiful thing is, as they release those molecules, they're enveloped in a special coating, if you will. It's called an exosome.
Okay.
And that exosome protects the molecules so they can safely get them where they need to go. And then the beautiful thing about the exosome, people have typically heard about liposomes, which increase penetration through the skin. An exosome is called an intelligent liposome.
Okay.
What it has the ability to do is to pick up on a signal from a damaged cell and then literally navigate over to that damaged cell, just like a GPS system on your cell phone. So it can navigate over to that damaged cell, and then literally we have pictures of this I can send you that you can share with your audience. But you can literally see how that stem cell then builds a tunnel across to the damaged cell, so it can safely get the molecules over to that damaged cell and repair it. And if it can't repair it, if it's too damaged, it sends over special molecules to decompose it and take it away. So the stem cells are completely safe. They come from FDA-regulated banks. When you go to a dermatologist, as an example, and you get a biopsy done, and they come back and they say your skin is healthy, you'll frequently hear them saying, would you like to contribute your skin to a skin tissue bank? That's where the skin tissue banks come in. They then modify, regulate, and test those skin samples to make sure that they're healthy. Okay. And then they keep them in that bank that's heavily regulated. That's where we get our stem cells from, is from those FDA-regulated banks.
Okay. Well, I learned something today. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're not putting stem cells. There's not stem cells in the product. We're not putting those on our skin. What we're putting on our skin is a released molecule created by the stem cell that's going to improve the health of our skin and the communication in our skin.
Release complement of molecules that are all in that exosome. Some of them are in the exosome, some of them are on the outside, like they're peptides. They're on the outside of the exosome, as an example.
I love it. It's so holistic. I love that. Really great. I'm going to look over here. I'm going to look over to our questions. I'm going to see what kind of questions we have coming in up here. All right. We've got Melanie on. Hi, Melanie. And she says she's loving this collaboration. Awesome. Me too. And then Jenny says, thank you for a beautiful product and caring about helping people and not about what you gain. Yeah. And then Krista says, why doesn't the company have controlled case studies? And then she goes on in the next message. She says, I would love to know that I'm actually getting the active ingredient, not just filler, that are just plumping my skin temporarily to make me believe that it's working, as so many companies do. Yeah, talk to us about that, Steve. Do you have some controlled studies? I know there are controlled studies of the ingredients. So there are the stem cell cytokines, but share with us what you have.
We do both what I would refer to as controlled studies, and we also do what I would say are real life based studies. So we probably at any point in time have north of 200 case studies going on across a wide range of skin indications. Most important for that person with her question, how do I know that what I'm getting is something I'm going to be satisfied with? Most important is just keep in mind our 100% money back guarantee on all of our skincare products. So if you're not, it's not like a 30-day guarantee. It's just, if you're not happy, just return the product to Jeana and we'll take care of you. She'll take care of you. We'll take care of her. So most important is just enjoy the products themselves, any size that you want to enjoy, and put them to the test with your set of circumstances. On the case study work that we do that I call real life case study work, I'd love to do some of that with you all if and when it makes sense. But we have people all the time that say, I've got this going on. What can you do for me? I go, if you'd like to join our case study program, we can talk about the terms of the case study program so that we can track you as a formal case study. So I would welcome that viewer to even join our case study program if she would like, because it'd be fun to test her skin directly.
Yes, and I would say that I have had over the years had people join your case study program, and it's excellent. There are so many. Sometimes it's hard for us to get everything in front of you guys, but we have so many before and after pictures of just a few weeks on the product or a few months on the product, or a scar that's being treated, and so many weeks or months after using the product. And the before and after pictures tell the story. It's really amazing. And I have to say too, I often say to people, the proof is in the pudding. And I know that's hard to believe if you haven't tried the product. But what I see on my clients who've been using the product, and once they've been on it for 6 weeks or so, they're like, wow, this looks really good. Once they've been on the product for 6 months, they're like, I wish I'd been on this my entire life. So overall, what I see with my clients helps me to prescribe products to all of you guys. And as you know, my website and everything I've done from the very beginning is all about having visible results, real tangible, visible results. And if I don't see those, I don't carry the product. Sometimes I'll test a product for 6 months, even a year, to make sure that it's right for Art of Skincare. And there's many products that don't pass. And they're like, no. Move on, next product. But these are products that we really do see the difference with. And as Steve said, you can give them a try and see if it works for you. If it's not a happy mix for you, you can't get your money back. I think that's an important point. Not many companies do that, for sure.
I'm curious for you, how many, seriously, because you are so avid with your studies, your research yourself, how many products have you touched, smelt, and tested over time? I mean,
Oh, I have no idea. We joke about it because those of us at Art of Skincare who love to work on development and research, we try everything. We're junkies. We're kind of product junkies and ingredient junkies. And so, when I first started Art of Skincare, I wanted to only have organic, natural products. That's what I was looking for. And I tested so many product lines in that first few years, and big product lines that you all know the name of, and they're really natural and everything. They have all these plant ingredients, but there's also so many plant waxes or heavy oils in them that the skin can't breathe. So you put them on your skin, and for a few weeks it looks pretty good. And then 3 or 4 weeks in, your pores are starting to sag and the texture's not so great. And I really, for a long time, had to just kind of give up on the green. It was like, okay, it's not going to be organic and green, but I want products that are non-toxic. But the most important thing to me is that we have those visible improvements to the health of the skin. And so there are many natural lines out there that I've tried that just don't work out, don't provide that long-term beneficial, visible results to the skin. But, and then there's lines that, the really natural lines are like that, but then there's also those really highly medical lines that use a lot of glycolic acid and stuff like that. And they stimulate as our client's question, Krista mentioned, and that they give you this temporary plumping. You put glycolic acid on your skin, and especially if you mix it with some vitamin C too, your skin's going to plump up and be so juicy, and you're going to get compliments on your skin all day. But you got to be careful with doing that too often, because you're over drying your skin. You're causing inflammation, because that's what's causing the plumping, is your skin's actually inflamed. And when you have chronic inflammation and dryness, that actually brings on aging sooner. Inflammation is one of the biggest causes of aging. So it's, so we test a lot of products. And we're walking that fine line between science and nature and looking for the very best. And that's what I really love about NeoGenesis, is it takes such a holistic approach and using that whole cell rather than just parts of it to do something that's going to give you a temporary effect. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's see if I can find, and now I am having, I figured out how to do it. Guys have to bear with me. We're having a new screen and everything we're doing is new today, so finding your questions is sometimes just a little interesting. So I have Faye. She says the eye serum actually helps my kids' acne. Amazing science behind it. I really want to buy the recovery, but might need money out of my retirement account. I love that you're using the eye gel. And for acne, my granddaughter has KP on her arms, keratosis pilaris, and she went skiing with me, and so her barrier got a little disrupted from that cold wind, and so she's got an extra case of KP here. And I have to tell you, what I put on her face this morning was NeoGenesis Recovery and Booster. She's like probably one of the youngest kids to be using Recovery recovery serum on her face. And then, of course, we put some barrier repair on top of that. But that really, immediately putting that on, those little red bumps are just going down. So yeah, the kids need it. And we've also had kids who've been through surgeries and have a scar using recovery, and thank God for recovery, because it does it.
Yes.
Yeah. Faye says, I like getting professional microneedling with entourage stem cells. It really helps me. The serum is great too, but I'm just afraid might not get value of it with microneedling. I see great results. So that's great, Faye. I'm not 100% sure what your question is, but I want you to know that you can also use NeoGenesis Recovery Serum to do your microneedling. That is what I use and a lot of people use, and it's also excellent with microneedling. And then we have Lance says he's a huge fan, and I use recovery every day, and I think Steve is an amazing philanthropist and business leader.
Thank you.
Paula says, how do we join the case study?
Oh, just contact our office if that's okay, or we can do it through you, Jeana, whichever is most convenient, and we can chat about that for sure.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Then we have Valentina. She says to your...
I'm sorry, if I could just mention for Faye, if it was Faye one more time. She could also email casestudies@neogenesis.com.
Perfect.
So whichever is best for you guys.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do is reach out to NeoGenesis directly. So email casestudies@neogenesis.com. Great.
Perfect.
And then we have Valentina. She says, so you are not using embryo fetuses to my understanding, is that correct? And we covered that. She probably asked that before we went there. And so Valentina, that is correct. No embryo fetuses and no foreskins. I think originally, Steve, back before NeoGenesis, one of the first companies to really kind of talk about using stem cells in their products, and to this day I think they do the same thing. I'm not going to mention names, but they would use a foreskin, a baby foreskin, and they weren't putting that in the product, but they would use that to grow their molecules and their stem cells. So none of that with NeoGenesis. You don't have to worry about that. And then we have here, this client is asking, just join the call. She says, can it be used on all skin colors?
Yes.
Absolutely, 100%. All skin colors,
Totally.
All nationalities.
Yeah.
Then we have here, NeoGenesis popped in to answer Krista's message, so I'm going to keep going. Paula wants to know, will you get the same benefits from using recovery product with other skincare like Sculpla? So I think what she's saying is it okay to use your recovery serum and then put other products on top of it, and will you still get as good of results?
You will. The suggestion would be to put on recovery first, so that it can be absorbed into the skin, and then layer your other products. You could cocktail your other products second, but apply the NeoGenesis recovery first in that particular case. And yeah, the beautiful thing about all of our products, we play well with all other skincare lines. So if you've got a favorite cleanser or a favorite moisturizer, yeah, and that's the beauty again with Jeana. She's got such a wide range of products at her disposal to offer up to you as they customize, treatment plans for you at home. So yeah, we play well with other products, and we also do well on our own.
They do. Absolutely. 100%. Sue says, Jeana recommended the Barrier Renewal Cream for me. She says she's an aging 55. You're a baby. That's not aging. She's 55, and well, we're all aging, and she's acne prone, and she loves it. Could you address packaging? More cost effective to buy 4-ounce size rather than 1 ounce. So it sounds like she's wanting you to create a larger size Barrier Renewal Cream. Have you had that request?
I believe and we've got Barrier Renewal Cream available in the 120. In the 4 ounce, it's available.
I believe so.
You can get that from Jeana today.
I think so. Actually, I'm thinking, I'm seeing the shelf in my mind of all the products.
Yeah.
And actually, here we go. So Sue, I brought it with me because I brought all the products with me. Here you go. I don't know, there, the camera's got it. Barrier Renewal Cream, 4 ounce. It's there for you and it's on my website, so go find it.
Awesome.
And then she says, 1 ounce seems to be airtight container, the 4 ounce does not. So maybe we're misunderstanding her question. So she's noticed that the 1 ounce is an airless pump and that the 4 ounce is not. And let me kind of address this first and we'll see if Steve says we're right. So with the Barrier Renewal Cream, it's not as important. Let's get it to. It's not as important for it to be in an airless pump as the serums, as in the recovery serum and booster serum and skin serum. Those are super important to get in that airless container. But we find the shelf life with the moisturizer in this packaging, because it's still keeping the light out, it's just not an airless, to be really great. So Steve, go ahead. You have anything to add to that?
That was good. You did that well.
Thank you.
You did that well. Let's get you another question.
Okay. Valentina says, thank you, Jeana, for having Steve here to address our questions. Thank you so much, Steve. This is like getting the information right from the horse's mouth. Absolutely. Janet says, could you please explain the difference between adipose and mesenchymal? I don't know.
Mesenchymal.
Thank you. Mesenchymal derived. We have a scientist here, a budding scientist client who wants a little more information on that.
Maybe she could restate the question. There are different mesenchymal stem cells. So we do use mesenchymal stem cells and adipose-derived stem cells. Those are the two stem cell lines that we pull our molecules from.
Okay, so you're using both, not one or the other. And she was wondering, is there a difference between the two?
Different complements of molecules.
Okay. So by using both, it's more synergistic and you're getting a more rounded
you got it.
Approach.
Yeah, because you will see some companies out there that only use one stem cell line. We use multiple stem cell lines. That's why you see that little fine print where it says S²RM, S²RM. That's signifying it's multiple stem cell lines.
Okay.
So we use 3 stem cell lines related for the skin products, and then our hair product, we use an additional stem cell line in addition to the skin stem cell lines.
Excellent. Excellent.
And you mentioned microneedling earlier. I was going to just mention, if I could, based on that. We've also done quite a bit of testing with microneedling for hair loss, in complementing the hair thickening serum.
Yes.
We're going to be showing some results from a new protocol. One of our trichologists, Dr. Mike Ryan, he's probably done north of 800 case studies, controlled case studies with the hair thickening serum. He most recently, we had 12 test candidates at his treatment facility over in Dubai that went through a couple of series of microneedlings with their hair using the hair thickening serum. But we've gotten great results also in terms of people that, have got the hair challenges. Hair thickening serum works great on its own. We've got a lot of case study work on that, but it also is fantastic with the microneedling. Microneedling for either the skin or the hair. Typically applying our product both before the microneedling and after the microneedling is really helpful. Before the microneedling is just kind of telling the skin, hey, everything's cool, be calm, we're going to be fine through this. Post microneedling saying, hey, you're through it and we're keeping you calm, we'll get you the benefits of the microneedling, but also reduce any irritation and downtime that you might be experiencing.
Excellent. I love that. Jenny says, can you recommend anything for glycation? Recovery, of course, recovery. So glycation or elastosis, that's all about, I'm going to just elaborate on that for anybody else listening, wondering what's that question about. There is an article in our blog on glycation. What glycation is a hardening of the protein on the surface of the skin. And as it does that, it almost looks like you have another layer of skin on top of your skin. And it's often, I point here because it's often in this area where you see this thickened, sometimes a little yellowish build up of hardened collagen proteins on the area here. Sometimes it's all around the mouth area. Sometimes we refer to it as being kind of like petrified wood, only it's skin, and it's like petrified skin that's on there. And so, of course, we love NeoGenesis Recovery for that because there's a lot of damage in those tissues. And for the most part, glycation is caused from sugar. It's a sugar-induced phenomena. And so reducing your sugar intake, starting young, reduce your sugar intake, reducing alcohol intake, all of those things help internally. And then, yes, using recovery serum, and mostly even before that hits you. So you guys, that preventative aging is using the Skin Serum or recovery serum every day. Because once that glycation gets really thick and really built up on there, we can soften it and we can work, to help it a little bit, but we're not going to reverse it. There's a certain point to which those the protein gets so hardened that we're not going to go very far. We're not going to get rid of it. It's not going to completely go away, but we can still do a lot toward getting your skin to be as healthy as it can be. And what we find is that when we get the skin healthier and we soften that up and the skin's really radiant and glowing, it's just not so noticeable and so irritating for those of us that have it to look at it. So that's that.
So true. I really like how you spoke to that too, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay.
I was going to ask you, I'm sneaking a question, but just given how big your practice is at this point, and looking at all the stress we've been under as a society for the last couple of years, what are you seeing in terms of compromised barriers? You mentioned compromised barrier before, but what are you seeing in terms of compromised barriers? What are you seeing in terms of when you're looking at skin where you're just going, too many people with too many actives chasing, their aging concerns, and they're using the wrong actives?
Yeah, I see it a lot. Like I mentioned earlier, using glycolic acid, a little bit, sure, it's fine, but there's just an overkill. Too harsh of peels on the skin, too harsh of retinol, tretinoin. There's a lot of people out there that disagree with me on this, but I don't like tretinoin on the skin. It's too harsh of a retinol, and it really compromises the skin barrier. And when the skin tries to deal with that, it's going to create a kind of a callus type skin cell to try and protect itself. And so I see that a lot, this kind of roughened skin, this kind of rough, ropey texture that's that kind of a callus where the skin's trying to protect itself. And a lot of times it's coming from too harsh, too strong of acids, retinols, peels, lasering treatments, things that are just causing so much inflammation. We also see it, of course, from sun, too much sun, the wind, environment, just pollution in your environment causes an inflammation in the skin and actually slows down cellular reproduction, right, Steve? So it's just so important to take care of your skin barrier. And in treating acne, we treat so much acne, and using too harsh of correctives over too long a period can really disrupt the skin barrier. And guess what? Your skin gets pissed off, and then it's breaking out even more, right? So there's always this fine balancing act where we're pushing the skin, making it a little dry, but then also giving it the nourishment it needs so they can heal and have a healthy barrier. And so there are some great products from NeoGenesis, the MB1 spray, which is you spray it on after you put your makeup and everything else on. You spray on the MB1, and it gives you back that good microflora that you need, your microbiota, as they say in French. You've got to put that microbiome back onto your skin to keep it really healthy. And that's one of the cutting edge products that NeoGenesis has been working on over the last few years and just launched, last summer? I think it is. Yes. So, let's get the next question. Oh,
we'll go back to your question.
I have somebody popped me a note in here, and they want to know, what is the difference between recovery booster and skin serum?
I love that question because recovery obviously is our marquee serum. It's got 70% of our active in it. It's a pure treatment serum. As you guys know, it doesn't moisturize, but it also doesn't dry the skin out. It just absorbs immediately, and you can apply the next product on immediately after. Booster has 40% of our active. And also has some other nice moisturizing properties. Hyaluronic butyrate is one of the properties that people just really love, the moisturizing effects of that. The skin serum has 20% of our active and also has some other wonderful ingredients. All of our decks are relatively simple, but typically we would recommend recovery for us that are 50-something, 60-something. It's a good daily serum for us, morning and night. Booster is going to be good for somebody that's typically in their 40s and they're kind of in that age range there, or people with sensitive skin, so rosacea and other sensitive conditions. Booster is going to be really good for those more sensitive skins. And then the skin serum, it's a great one and done for somebody that's just getting started with skincare and they don't want to have a whole routine. They just want to have one simple solution with 20% of our active. It's really great for that upper 20s to 30s grouping. And then there are a lot of people that are in our age range that love to use recovery, and then they'll layer the skin serum on them because they like the feel of both of those products together. Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah. That's really awesome. And I have to say those, and I know I have many people on here. I'm looking at names, and I know there's many of them that use both recovery and booster. And some use booster in the morning and recovery at night. And then some of us who are hardcore, we're putting recovery and booster on together every morning. So yeah, I love that there's so much flexibility in different ways that you can use them together. And I love recovery and I love booster for acne clients. But sometimes some of our acne clients are teenagers or in their 20s and they just don't have that pocketbook yet to purchase recovery. And I have to tell you, the clients that use skin serum do really well. It really speeds up the healing of their acne and also calms inflammation. So good stuff.
I love the note from one of the other clients that mentioned she was using the eye serum.
Yes,
acne,
yes, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And the eye serum is 10% of our active in it with some other wonderful ingredients once again. But so the science is the science.
It's there. Yeah. So Jennifer here, Jennifer's a close friend of mine, and she has written blogs for us at times. And she says, no questions. I just wanted to say that I'm a skincare addict, and I get asked about what I use on my skin almost daily. She has beautiful skin. And she says, I recommend NeoGenesis every time. This brand has risen to be the top of my favorites. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm going to move down here to Valentina. Is the hair thickening serum also help hair growth? Does it help hair growth?
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It does. Typically, so the hair thickening serum, I will tell our team, our group here, that all of our skincare products have that 100% money back guarantee because we know statistically what they can do, what percentage of the time they succeed, and it's like 99%. The hair thickening serum does not have that money back guarantee. We're north of 80% in terms of positive results that people are seeing. I'm just being transparent for everybody here. We're more successful with women than men, in both cases above 80%.
Okay.
That's where we continue to test, different product decks with that. But the benefits that people typically call out, and I'll mention again, Dr. Ryan, with all of the treatments that he's done with his clinics in the UK and Dubai, what he reports continuously is first 30 days, he'll have his patients apply the product twice a day. Mm-hmm. And the first thing he's trying to do is just reduce the shedding of the scalp, right?
Right.
And so the first benefit that people will typically report is reduced shedding. Mm-hmm. The second benefit they'll report typically in that 45, 65, 75-day range is just when they run their fingers through the hair, it just feels healthier for them. The texture feels healthier and the hair feels healthier. And then we typically like to get the client or patient through at least 2 growth cycles, 2 hair cycles, to really be then looking for the actual hair growth itself. Sometimes we see it sooner than that. And then obviously, as you know, Jeana, we're looking at, there's 2 kinds of hair growth, right? There's the healthier hair growth called terminal hairs, and then there's the vellus hairs. They're kind of like the baby hair, a little more wispy and don't last as long. So then we're trying to monitor both the vellus and the terminal hair growth. So we do that both informally through case studies with people out and about, but then we've done a lot of controlled case studies with Dr. Ryan. Most recently, we invested in a scope technology that enables us to measure per square centimeter of the scalp to measure what's going on with the follicle and what's going on with the hair growth. It's pretty impressive, the kind of growth that we're getting. Now, what Dr. Ryan most recently did was he wanted to kind of pep up the treatment a little bit further. So his overall strategy is he will have a patient that is with him 6 weeks in a row for microneedling treatments. He's going about as deep as he can go with them in his clinic. But pre-treatment, he's typically applying the hair thickening serum 6 times to the affected area.
Okay.
And massaging it in.
Okay.
Then microneedling.
Okay.
Then applying 6 times. Then having them use the serum once a day.
Okay.
And the other thing I would just mention, I will show you, we're just packaging together all of that data. It's really promising. It's very impressive, actually. And I'll be showing that to you hopefully within the next couple of months to see this latest round of controlled studies on that. The other thing I would just mention for people that are using the hair thickening serum, you want to make sure your hair shafts are damp when you're using it. The goal is to get the product into the skin, into the follicle and the skin surrounding the follicle. Sometimes people are putting on a lot of serum, but they're just rubbing it straight into their hair because their hair is dry when they apply it to their scalp.
The hair is just sucking it up, right? Yeah.
You got it.
So when you send us that information, we will make sure that information gets out to all of the people on our newsletter, our insiders. So we will be passing that good information on to you guys. Okay, let's see. Where's my next question? Carol says, I used the eye serum on my lids and they instantly tightened. Do I continue to use the product after the crepey lids are tighter? Yeah, we don't want them to go back. We don't want it to go back to that crepey again. So your skin cells are replacing themselves pretty much. I mean, it takes longer as we get older, but pretty much every 5 weeks, those baby skin cells are rising up to the surface and you have new skin cells on the surface. So yes, you're applying that, you're getting instant results, but also the cells underneath the surface are getting healthier. And we want to keep applying that because those skin cells are constantly turning over and new baby cells are being developed and being farmed and ready to rise to the surface. So you want to use your serum every day, twice a day if you can.
Love it.
Yeah. And then we have here, let's see. Lori says, should recovery serum and booster always be put on after washing and toning and before any other products?
Preferably before toning.
Oh,
after
really?
Washing and before toning.
Oh, really?
Preferably.
I didn't know that because I always have clients use their toner because we use corrective toners, Steve. So if they have a corrective toner with some little bit of acids and stuff like that in it, do you want them to use that before or after recovery serum?
You know, let me check with Dr. McGuire and Stephanie Brower just to make sure. And can I send you a quick message a little bit later?
Yeah. And then we'll post it in the description of this live today. We'll post that answer because that's a great question. I've never actually asked you guys that. I just went with what intuitively I thought was the right thing to do, and maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so if you want to have that full potential of that full strength recovery serum, you're going to put that on first, and then you're going to spritz with your mists and things like that. I learned something new. I love it. Okay.
Having said that, though, because we're a science-based company, we're always looking for more data, more like research alternatives. That's why I like it. Just like the day that I caught you just I was happy that I did, but the day you were talking about cleansers and you're talking about how to apply a cleanser, that was a really good. Remember, I told you I learned.
I taught you how to use your cleanser. I'm so glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, and so what I would say about toner is when we're using a corrective toner, so you can you have the right information, Steve. When we use a corrective toner, we put it on a gauze 2x2 pad and we really work it into the skin. So my thought was that if they're really working it into the skin like that, that maybe they might remove some of the recovery. So I have them apply that corrective toner all over really well, working it in, and then let it dry so the correctives can do their action, and then I have them put recovery on top of it. So you go for it, find out for us if we're doing it right or not. It'd be awesome.
Well, except for keep in mind, what makes us unique, in my opinion at least, is the relationship that we have with you at the clinic level.
Yeah.
So we're research and development and product development.
Got it.
You are product testing,
Yes.
right? So closed loop between us. That's
True.
why, as you know, in just a few days, you're going to be able to announce 3 of our new products that we're super excited. But
Yeah.
again, you were the inspiration for 2 of those 3 products that started with a clinic discussion with you
Right.
a year ago.
Right. I get that. Yeah, so we have the hands-on experience here at Art of Skincare. We're getting that hands-on, and you and I kind of come together and kind of share what's happening hands-on. You're kind of bringing the science end, and then we create and move forward. So I love this question about the toner. Let's hear what the science side has to say about it, and I know what I've experienced with it, and let's see what comes of it. That's cool.
Definitely.
Okay, Daniela says, I'm finishing my master's program and I'd be grateful for a discount because of this information. So it sounds like she wants a discount or something on the hair growth. I would say reach out for the case studies maybe. I don't know. We don't usually discount, so I don't think they were going to have a discount for you, but maybe there's some case study you can find out about or something like that. So Valentina.
That'd be good. Tell her to do our case study program.
Yeah, find out more there. Valentina, does the NeoGenesis serum help the growth of eyebrows when you apply it all over your face? So she didn't specify between skin serum or recovery serum, but she's wanting to know if she puts one of those that's designed for the face and she puts it even into her brows, is that going to help her brows to be healthier?
We've had people report that. Mm-hmm. Of course, we do have a Neo Lash and Neo Brow, which are products specifically for the lash and brow. But we have had people say that using recovery on my brows has also helped with the hair growth in my brows. But that's something we've done a lot of testing on.
Yeah. So when you have a lash serum and a brow serum, Steve, are you collecting some different stem cell released molecules that are specific to hair?
Yes.
Okay.
You got it.
All right.
Yeah. It's both hair and it's the follicle itself,
okay.
Right? And it's the skin surrounding, making all of that more healthy.
Okay. Sue says, I agree what you're saying about Retin-A because I'm in my 50s and have acne concerns. That's the first thing dermatologists wanted to prescribe, and I could never acclimate to it. Not only could you not acclimate to it, but let me also tell you that the Retin-A creams contain acne-causing ingredients. So they're having to put such strong tretinoin in there so that you're constantly peeling so that those pore clogging ingredients you're sticking on the skin aren't going to make your acne worse. And then the other thing is that vitamin A, a lot of dermatologists recommend retinol for inflamed acne. If you have inflamed acne, retinol makes it worse. Retinol just increases inflammation. If you have follicular acne, retinol will flare up follicular acne. So really the only kind of acne that is friendly to retinol, or retinol's friendly to it, would be a maturation arrest or blackheads. So if you have blackheads or you have little pebbles under the skin that just never come up and do anything, they don't get inflamed, they're just there, that's the best, that's where retinol is best for. So I just have to throw that educational piece in there. Okay. Let's see. How often do you use recovery, both AM and PM, or only AM or PM?
Gina, that's on a
Is that
person
for
by
me?
person basis.
That's
where
absolutely
your expertise
right.
comes in.
Depends
Yeah.
on you. It depends on your budget. I use them twice a day. How about you, Steve? How often do you use it?
Once a day, 5 days a week if I'm lucky. Recovery's
Oh,
kind of my one and done product, and
okay.
on the days I shave, I use Recovery.
Okay. Okay. Got it. All righty. Let's see. Parvin says, thank you so much for the clarification. Loves NeoGenesis. Thank you for taking the time to educate us. That's great. And then here's this next person. This is an insider at Art of Skincare, and she says she can't live without her skin serum. She's only 28. I can't believe she's 28. That just can't be true because she's my daughter. And it creates, she's my baby daughter, and it creates a major change in her skin, and she has no more PIH. And anybody wants to know what PIH is, that's post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. That's that red spot that's left over after you get a blemish. What that red spot is there's increased blood flow to that area. So even though the surface looks like clear and the pimple's gone, there's still healing going on underneath the surface, and there's all this blood flow to that area, and generally that's going to stay like that for 6 to 9 months after a blemish. When you apply your NeoGenesis Skin Serum, it's going to help speed up the healing. So it's not bleaching that dark spot, it's actually speeding up the healing, so then there's less blood flow needing to go to that area. So next question. I'm out of my recovery and used the hair serum for a couple of nights and it worked great.
I love those kinds of comments.
Okay.
Now, if that person ends up growing a beard,
I know.
not looking for a beard.
That's the first thing that I thought of is, oh, I have all this vellus hair on my face, and I don't think it would be a good idea for me to do that. Okay, it said, next person, Tammy says, most topicals have molecules that are too large to penetrate the skin and only treat the top deadish surface. How can we be sure of molecule size and penetration of NeoGenesis? And she says, be blessed. So one great thing I'm going to point out that I love about NeoGenesis is they put a little bit of lactic acid in there, and it's not to cause any kind of exfoliation, but it's a great delivery vehicle. So it really helps to drive the product in. But Steve, I'll let you speak to that. Is the molecule size small enough to really get beneath the surface and make any kind of difference?
That's the beauty of the exosome. Similar to a liposome, right?
Right.
It has the ability to penetrate through the layers of the skin. So she is correct that the molecules themselves are too large to penetrate, but because they're inside that exosome, which can maneuver through the layers of the skin,
travels.
That's how it penetrates. Yeah.
Very nice.
And it travels and then docks up to damaged tissue.
Yeah. Okay, Carol says, Stephen, would you recommend for the neck of my 74, would you recommend it for her 74-year-old neck?
Love to, yeah. And I would love to have, any of these things, if you can take pictures as you get started and then take pictures every 30 or 60 days so that you can track your own progress.
Yes.
But we do good things with crepey skin.
Yes, absolutely. I think recently, just in the last few weeks, we posted on Instagram and even emailed out some before and after pictures. And one of them was of a crepey arm. How many of you get that crepey skin on your arms and the dramatic difference? This client was using Skin Serum and some Recovery Serum. Was she mixing them together, Steve, or one of the other?
Layering them. Recovery first.
Recovery first.
Skin Serum second.
Skin Serum on top of it. And the difference in that crepey skin on her arms, amazing. Just crepiness gone. So does the same thing for this area. Now, of course, you got to have good posture too. Right? Think about your ballerina posture. Have this really good posture. Put on your recovery. Put on your skin serum. Put on your barrier renewal. And then just let those do their good work. Okay, let's see. This person says, I have acne-prone skin and dark spots from old acne. is NeoGenesis Recovery Serum can get rid of them. So this is referring to what I was talking about with Celine. She's got that PIH, that's post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, and absolutely Skin Serum and Recovery Serum both help with that, because they're not going to get rid of them in the terms of like bleaching them or anything like that. What they're doing is speeding up the healing of the skin so that you don't need that constant high amount of blood flow to that area. The tissues will be healed and healthy. Jennifer says, I know Jeana recommends a daily vitamin C serum. How do I incorporate that into my NeoGenesis protocol, or is there vitamin C in one of the serums? I got my lips tightened here. Can I say anything?
Yeah,
Can I say anything?
Yeah.
So NeoGenesis has, drumroll, a vitamin C product in development. That's all I can say there. So we're looking forward to seeing that. But of course, you can apply your vitamin C serums on top of your recovery serum. They work great together. Yep. Here we have, I love recovery. My skin absolutely drinks it up and looks healthier. Yay. Here, this person says, is Lemieux Brightening Toner considered a corrective toner? Yes. It has L-mandelic acid in it. Let me take that back. It has mandelic acid in it. I'm not 100% sure it's L-mandelic, but it has mandelic acid in it. Mandelic is from almonds, and it is brightening and stimulates some collagen, and it is considered a corrective or active toner. Okay, next question is, what sets NeoGenesis apart from other stem cell products such as Anti-Age? Here we go. Let's do it.
Well, I don't know if that particular viewer has been in the entire discussion we've had, so I don't want to necessarily go back and restate what we've been stating, but our belief based on what the PubMed peer-reviewed journals say, which is the gold standard of science. So based on the PubMed peer-reviewed journals, it's been our decision that it's best to honor what Mother Nature does, and that is to use skin-specific, tissue-specific stem cells for our products. What I would tell you in terms of my understanding with the bone marrow stem cells, what Mother Nature does, Mother Nature will use bone marrow stem cells on a very specialized, limited basis. So let's just say you were in a car accident, you get a major gash in your arm. Mm-hmm. Mother Nature is going to rush the bone marrow stem cells in to try to close that wound as quickly as possible from a contamination standpoint. Then Mother Nature immediately pulls back those bone marrow stem cells, because if they're there too long, they'll then start to make the skin age proactively, which is not necessarily good for the skin. Mother Nature will then use the skin-specific stem cells to finish the healing process, reduce the scarring, and that's what Mother Nature does. So that's what we've chosen to do for our products.
I love that. Well said. All right. Noreen says, how far does the NeoGenesis serum go deep into the skin? 2 millimeters or 3 millimeters? And does devices that say that it pushes the product even deeper, is that true? Is there, so a device, they're probably thinking like an ultrasound device or something like that. Will it drive it in deeper? She wants to know, and she wants to know, how deep does it go? 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters?
You know, let's add that to our other question for Dr. McGuire, just to double check. I wouldn't want to give any misinformation. And it's our understanding that things like ultrasound do drive products deeper, but candidly, we don't have scientific data to say that it drives it down to this level, this particular level. Yeah. That could be one of those next things we go, hey, let's see if we can collect some case studies and find a way to measure it. Much like that scope, that technology that we've been able to locate to measure the types of growth on the scalp. Yeah, so that would be something I'd love to be able to have some specific case studies on and see if there is a way to measure it.
That's awesome. All right. Next question from Sue. Will NeoGenesis ever offer a daily sunscreen?
We will someday. We believe that there are some other, good quality organic sunscreens that obviously, Jeana, you represent them. So we feel like those there are good solutions there. So we thought up to now, let's put our resources toward the unique products that we can create that our technology can really support. And as you mentioned, we've got 2 platforms of technology. We've got the stem cell platform of technology, and then the microbiome platform of technology, of which we're developing more products in that platform as well. And then we'll technically, long-range vision, will ultimately also be developing products that will include the cannabinoid platform of science, and we'll ultimately combine the 3 platforms together.
Interesting. That sounds really interesting. I didn't know about the cannabinoid direction, so that'll be fun to see what you do with that. I love it. Rising Sun Organic says, love you, Stephen, Jeana, and NeoGenesis is the best. Yay. And then Robin says, I'm 44 years old and use Skin Medica retinol for anti-aging purposes. Are you suggesting the NeoGenesis serums would be a better option, or should I use both? So I'm not sure about this question. If you can pipe in a little more, Robin, are you asking if you should continue to use retinol even if you're along with NeoGenesis, or are you referring to Skin Medica's stem cells and which would be better? If you can clarify that question, we can then do a better job of answering it. And then Noreen here is saying, does recovery serum help in tightening the skin? And thank you for answering our questions. So does recovery serum help in tightening skin?
Indeed.
It does.
Right along with that crepiness. Going to help there?
Yep, tightening crepiness is tightening. So skin that is unhealthy is stagnant. It doesn't have a lot of good flow of nutrients and blood and all those interstitial fluids, and you start to see sagging and some kind of what do I call it? Kind of a thinning of the skin, or when the skin starts to look really delicate, skin looks really overly delicate because it's malnourished. And so when you feed your skin with a NeoGenesis stem cell released molecules, everything starts flowing better and the skin is not stagnant. It gets firmer and glowier and tighter because of that.
And we've had a number of people tell us that if they've got any sensitivities to the vitamin A's or the vitamin C's, our science helps their skin be better prepared to receive those products, and they do better with those products.
Absolutely. I have my clients use recovery underneath their retinol serum. So back to that one person asking about Skin Medica, and I'm not really sure what the question was, but absolutely we do use retinols. And I choose retinols that are the right kind of retinol for your skin needs and your skin strength. Because there are all range of strengths and kinds of retinols. There's something for everyone, but we're always putting recovery on to support the skin underneath, because recovery is your anti-inflammatory. It's going to boost that healing. It's going to boost the health of your skin. And all of that is important when you're doing a lot of correction like you might do with the retinol.
Could I just mention 2 things real quick, and then we'll continue your questions?
Yes.
But just from things that have come up today, I know your primary focus, and you take such good care of your people, and I know you're very focused on the aging concerns. I did just want to mention that the other kinds of conditions that we can also serve, because I know these people come through, you're in touch with them. It could be another family member, but what we can do for chronic issues like eczema and psoriasis is truly a blessing. What we're able to do for traumatic kinds of events, the chronic issues, DVT ulcers, diabetic ulcers, pressure ulcers, or bed sores as they're also known, closing any of those wounds up, we can really be helpful for family members there. I know you've seen our work with cancer patients, what we're able to do with radiation dermatitis, chemodermatitis, scar reduction from surgeries. So there's so much that we can serve that people that talk to you for their aging concerns, they've got a mother, they've got a sister going through breast cancer, they've got a kid that's got an eczema that's embarrassing them and really inhibiting their social skills at school. So there's, not to get you guys too astray from your core, focus, but there's so many other ways that I know that you can be helping this wide audience that you have. Just because the same technology that's helping the aging concerns is helping these other more difficult concerns, and that's why we're so confident that we can help on the aging concerns. And the other thing I just wanted to mention, that I don't know how we would do this, and maybe you in your room without me here will talk about this, but our mission as a company is to, bring this science forward to 10 million people that need it, and that's not really a big number when you look at how many people are on the planet. But it's to bring that science to 10 million people that pay for the science. It enables us to also provide our science gift our science to 1 million people that need it but can't afford it. So within the community, especially this internet community, like if we were a brick and mortar in a town, right, we might be helping like the junior achievement and helping this youth group and helping this elderly group. But we're on the internet. So I just want to open it up that if, one of your clients out there, sometimes when people are going through cancer treatment, as an example, they don't have their job, right? Because they're going through cancer treatment, they're financially stressed, they're physically, emotionally stressed. So our gifting program basically says those who need our products and need a price break, they get it. If they need our products for free, they get it. It's a Scout's honor thing. If we've had people that have taken advantage of us and said they need the products for free and they didn't. And that's their karma. It's not our karma. But I just want you to know, you help so many people and you touch people so much. And I know people turn to you in their hour of need, but if there are things that we can do, if ever you have somebody that says, I need help and I can't afford right now, we're happy to help them out because you do so many great things for your clients already.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love that. I love everything you just said. And that really triggered for me. I had a family member reach out recently with an employee who has a baby with eczema, and the eczema is so bad that there's cracks in her fingers, and the doctors are giving her medications that don't help with it. So she recently reached out to me, and we have a question here in our questions from Cindy. It says, can NeoGenesis be used on a young child that has eczema? And so yes, it can. And Steve, what do you guys recommend for a young child that has eczema?
The recovery would be my first go-to product, but they could use the booster or the skin serum if they wanted to test those as well.
Okay. And barrier renewal, would they put that on top as well? Absolutely. I mean, it seems like eczema is always so dry, such a dry skin.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
The recovery followed by the barrier renewal.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, and we skipped a few questions. We're getting close to the end of our questions, but
this is great.
Yeah, it is. Sherry wants to know, will NeoGenesis ever have any modalities? Does that mean devices? What? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were just suggesting one to me earlier today.
I was, actually.
That's a possibility. We've tended to try to remain neutral on the modality front. Agnostic is, I guess, the term that we use internally. But I do think that's a possibility at some point in the future, especially based on our conversation this morning.
Okay. Yeah. So this morning we were talking about microchanneling and sharing some ideas about that. And so you'll be hearing more about that. I'm going to be doing some fresh videos for my microneedling and microchanneling friends, because the videos that you've all been watching of mine are getting a bit dated. Technology changes, things change, and so we have to keep remaking our videos as we learn more. Let's see. Paula wants to know, she says, Jeana, your skin looks great. What are you wearing? Okay. So I have NeoGenesis Recovery on. I did do a mask this morning. I did the Hydra Velvet mask from Skinbolic. And then just what am I wearing is my Luminaire foundation. And yeah, thank you so much.
You do look great.
Thank you, Steve. Oh, here comes Robin back about the Skin Medica question. She says, I'm referring to using retinol along with NeoGenesis Recovery Serum. So yes, you use those. You can use those together. Cindy says, can NeoGenesis be used on a young child? Oh, we did that one. Valentina says, I've had to use chemotherapy cream for 3 months for pre-cancer. I remember when you did that, Valentina. And she says, my face looked like a burn victim. I know Valentina and I kind of talked about that and how your skin looks like raw hamburger when you're going through that. She says, NeoGenesis Recovery Serum healed me completely, and I'm 74 and absolutely love it. Thank you. So thank you for sharing, Valentina. I remember when she was going through that and she was asking me, what should I put on it? And I think they even told her, the doctors, I think it was Valentina, it may have been someone else in the same situation, but the doctors were telling her, just don't put anything on it. Wait and put something on it later because we're just going to keep peeling that skin off. And I finally convinced her, no, do put something on it, put recovery on it. And I think she's glad that she did. Melissa says, Jeana is simply the best, so generous with her time and her knowledge. Thank you. And here we go. We did it. Last couple thank yous down there. We did it. We made it through all the questions. Yay! So much good information was shared here. And I'm so glad that you brought in that information about other things, treating, bed sores and chemo, radiated skin, all of that kind of stuff. I'm so glad that you brought that in because it's such an important part of NeoGenesis. And I tend to focus in on what I work on, which is healing with acne and aging, and occasionally I get the eczema client, and occasionally I get somebody who's has a scar from a car accident or a surgery. But so I don't talk as much about those things because I don't see them as much. And so I'm so glad that you brought those up. Really, really wonderful.
Oh, and it's heart moving to help people in need. I mean, it's just a huge. And there are so many people in need, Jeana.
Mm-hmm. There are.
So,
there's a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just want to tell you that, first of all, I had a lot of fun today. So everybody that's out there that's been asking the questions and participating, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Was fun. Jeana, you were awesome. I knew you're always awesome, but this was a lot of fun.
It was super fun.
We got to get a little time together.
Yeah, I'm glad we figured out the technology and did it. It was wonderful.
Well, more to continue, I'm sure.
We have one more question snuck in under the wire before we hang up. And she says, are the stem cells from adults? I use product and it's excellent. And yes, I just want to say that one more time because we've had a lot of questions about it this week. And yes, it's from adults, no babies. Okay, we're going to sign off with that. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Jeana, thank you. And thanks, everybody. You guys all have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.